back, everybody. Today we're going over the Krebs rail that you see here on my Vepr rifle. We did the installation video already. Most of you guys saw that. Today we're going to talk about the actual properties of the rail, what I think of it so far, how it's performing, and just go over the specs, things like that, and then wrap it up at the end. But that's what's coming up today, guys. Too shabby. I removed the forend so we could get a look at it basically as it comes from the factory. You can see here it does come with all the mounting hardware. This version here is for the AKM series of rifles, so that way it allows you to use your lower handguard retainer and still mount it on there. As you guys have seen throughout the video, that's important because a lot of folks use that as their sling attachment point, and a lot of folks simply don't want to cut their rifles, so something to keep in mind there. Overall, the handguard is made of a 6065 T6 aluminum, so very lightweight stuff there. It is hard anodized as well. You can see the key mod cutouts here, as well as on the bottom of the rail, and they are on both sides there. The other slots there are just for venting and cooling. They do not accept any sort of like M-lock or anything like that, for those of you guys who may be wondering that. They're just for cooling and to keep it nice and light while maintaining its rigidity. Overall, the package with all the hardware comes in at 13.9 ounces. So it's just about 6 ounces heavier than the Saiga Handguards, for those of you guys that are replacing that, and then you can obviously do the math there if you're replacing your AKM handguards, depending on which handguards you have and how much they weigh, if they're wood or polymer or whatever the case may be. One thing I want to point out when we take a look at it here on the rifle, and let me actually mount it back up on the rifle to do that. Hold on one second. Through the magic of video editing, it's back on the rifle. Now, one thing I wanted to point out earlier that I was getting to is how it actually interfaces with the gas tube. It only interfaces with Saiga gas tubes or modified AKM gas tubes. Now, obviously, Saigas aren't coming in the country anymore, unfortunately, but there are a ton of gas tubes hanging around. You can find them on a lot of the forums for $10 or $15, and I believe Krebs Custom is also selling them for another $15 for those of you guys that don't want to modify your original gas tube. Now, of course, the top piece of the handguard here does come off, which is something that's very nice about this handguard setup, which you guys may remember from my Krebs KV13 video. If I can actually get it off. This one's still kind of new, still kind of tight, but there you go. And it does retain zero. For those of you guys that are interested in that, go ahead and check out the link right here. I have it fast forwarded right to the spot on the KV13 video where I show that maintains zero down to 1 MOA in my experience when you're mounting optics on there, taking it off, putting it back on, due to the way the clips work here on the handguards. That tension on both sides, pushing it forward and locking it into the place with these little locking tabs here all along the top handguard ensure that repeatable zero there. So as I mentioned earlier, this one here is a Saiga handguard. I didn't want to modify my handguard, but I actually had one of these laying around as well, and a viewer actually sent one in for the other rifle that you guys have seen in the video. So I have been using the Saiga, but you can just modify yours, as I mentioned earlier. But the top cover comes off for cleaning, which is great, because obviously I'm using this on a 74 series rifle here, and I primarily shoot 7.6 corrosive ammo. So you can pop your gas tube off, clean as normal, put it back on, and no worries there about having to clean out your gas tube with corrosive residue, should you guys be shooting corrosive ammo. When I first posted a picture of these handguards over on my Facebook page, I got a bunch of questions, and two of them I got over and over again were how does it handle heat and how does it affect the accuracy. So in terms of heat, it does an excellent job. I've done quite a bit of rapid shooting with the Vepr here, as well as my AKM that you guys saw earlier, and really, I mean, it handles heat as well, if not better than your standard AKM handguards with the heat shield in there, so that's a pretty good standard to go by. The only time I'd say that you'd ever notice it is if you have your hand right on the gas block or the clamp right here. And that's actually not the rail you're feeling, it's the clamp and the gas block. So the actual rail itself stays extremely cool. And if you have, like, say, like a vertical foregrip like on the BCM here, I mean, you're not going to feel it. I haven't felt it anyway, unless you're just doing full auto fire with a bump fire stock or something like that. So it does a great job in terms of heat. In terms of accuracy, I've seen no effects whatsoever. As you guys saw during the KV13 video, that rifle was extremely accurate. I've seen no change in terms of accuracy on the Vepr or the SGL-31 that you guys have seen earlier in the video. So if it's there, I can't see it, I can't perceive it. So certainly it's seems to be a great handguard overall, at least in my experience. I have 2 of them. I'll probably get more for my Veprs for sure. They come to market, I believe, at $265 as the retail price, but you can find them other places for less. Some of Krebs distributors and dealers, they will be less there, so go ahead and check around. I know Circle 10 has them, probably some other places as well. I'm rambling now. Anyway, moving on, they fit a ton of different rifles, like I mentioned earlier, Veprs, Saigas. I believe they're actually coming out for the SIG 500 series of rifles as well. Don't quote me on that, but I believe they are. The only rifles I know they don't fit are going to be the integrated sight Vepr models. So if you have one of those, as of right now, you're out of luck, but who knows what Krebs will come up with. They tend to come up with stuff off the wall due to customer demand all the time, so stay tuned for that. But if you guys have any questions about these handguards that I didn't answer here in the video, you can always post below in the comments section. You can also post over at my Facebook page as always. But thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for subscribing, and I'll see you in the next video.